Today's MetroNews television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, no excuses.
Yeah, plan for a colder than average couple of days here. Most of us in the state have frost advisories or freeze warnings, and a lot of these will have frost advisories and freeze warnings again tonight. So continue to make any preparations. Protect those pets, pipes, and plants out there with the frosty and freezing temps. Middle of the week, all time a warm front, so there will be some chances of rain showers that look likely for a lot of us Wednesday. Potentially a few thunderstorms and some of the high elevations wrapping up some snow showers or already wrapped up early in the day. That strong cold frontal passage is likely already gone to the east. High pressure will work in on our chilly day. For your fly CRW forecast, it starts at home. Chilly for a lot of the eastern areas of the United States, too. 55 in Washington, D.C., before warming back up to 73. Tampa near 86 today. Myrtle Beach near 70 from Panhandle to Panhandle. Highs flirting with 50 up to the north here. Even some upper 40s with dry conditions and frosty and freezing temps expected again tonight. 32 to 28 or so. So still take those precautions for more frosts and freeze that are expected tonight. High elevations, wintry mixes or snow showers are coming to an end or have already ended, with highs in the 40s and low 50s and freezing temps expected again tonight. Lots of mid to upper 20s overnight. Central to northern areas, lots of us will be dry, sunny, and cooler than average, with highs around 50, give or take, and mid-20s to some low 30s. Frost advisories or freeze warnings expected again tonight. Highs upper 40s to near 60 at the very most in southern West Virginia. And frost advisories or freeze warnings expected tonight. Lows in the 30s and 20s. 74 tomorrow. Rain and storms look likely on Wednesday. 83 Thursday, 86 Friday. And rain and storms likely again for the end of the week and the weekend with our next front coming in.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at Salango Law.
Hope you had a great weekend. Hope your week is getting off to a great start. We've got a lot to get to today as MetroNews Talkline is ready to go.
Do not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded. We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
From the studios of WVRC Media and the Metro News Radio and Television Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful show in West Virginia. This is Metro News Talkline with Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows.
Check set line up link. Activated Telos telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Q Dave and TJ. You're on. Metro News Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Good morning. Welcome into the program. Dave Wilson in Morgantown. TJ is in Charleston. Either way, we are in the Encova Insurance Studios. Jake Link runs the video stream. Sophia Wasik handles the audio side. We appreciate you being part of our day. If you're listening in on one of our great radio affiliates across the state, or if you're watching on the Metro News television app, YouTube, or Facebook Live. Got a loaded show again today. Coming up a little bit later on, Justice Gerald Titus will join us. Brad McElhinny, the latest on the Greenbrier. We'll get into a recent survey. What do you think about grid reliability, and how do you prioritize that when you're looking at elections? Jonathan Savage, and we'll talk to congressional candidate Vince George. We'll also discuss the life and career of Congressman David McElhinny, who passed away on Friday at the age of 79. All that, say good morning to TJ Meadows in the Charleston studios this morning. Good morning, TJ.
Glad to see that poll. A little concerned. No one asked me what I think about grid reliability. I know a thing or two about it. You would think I would make the poll, but no such luck.
Nah, that's why they disqualified you from the poll. Have you ever had – I've had people call me to do Gallup polling or election polling, and their first question is, qualifiers. Are you part of the news media? Yep. And you just hear this person go, Sorry, you can't do the poll. Oh, can my wife do the poll? She'll answer the questions. No, sir. Oh, okay. I guess we're out.
Well, at least they explain it. I would have thought that it would just been like click, but at least they say, "Oh, sorry," and they're somewhat apologetic that you can't participate.
They're actually a little bit disappointed. They had somebody who was excited to do it, and unfortunately, not qualified. All right, so we got a lot to get to this morning. 800-765-TALK, 304-TALK, 304. We're going to start taking a look at some of these Senate races, state Senate races that are shaping up to be interesting, competitive, all the above heading into the May 12th primary. We begin this morning in the West Virginia Senate 10th District, where incumbent Republican Vince Deeds is running for re-election. He joins us on MetroNews Talkline this morning. Senator, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Dave and TJ. Glad to be here.
Appreciate you coming on. Why do you want to go back to Charleston, Vince?
We just have more work to do. We truly do. We need to concentrate on some economic development, of course, jobs in West Virginia, the education system. And, of course, how what a big advocate I am for child welfare and infrastructure. So, we just have more work to do. And with my background of service, I just feel like that we can build a consensus and get some more work done.
Vince, why you and not your opponent in the primary?
Well, ultimately, I've served the people of West Virginia for 30 plus years, whether it's been in the law enforcement, in the state police, or in my pastoral service. And so during those times and during my life experiences, I've lived 1,000 lifetimes through those people that I've served and tried to help them along, throughout the process. And so with that, I feel like that I have good communication, good background with those people in the 10th Senatorial District. I'm part of the community. I have been since, my family moved into this area in 1820. And we are ingrained in the Greenbrier Valley and Nicholas and Fayette counties. And so I just feel like we just have more work to do.
Talking to Vince Deeds, he is the sitting senator in the West Virginia 10th District, running for re-election, is being challenged in the primary. Vince, what is the state government's role in economic development and growing the economy here in West Virginia?
I'll tell you, the first 2 years in the Senate, I really was blessed to be part of a team. Oftentimes what we would do, the Senate leadership, the House leadership, and the executive branch would get together with our higher education partners. We would sit down around the table, and we would bring businesses in that may have an interest in coming to West Virginia. And we would develop a consensus, talk things out and see if we could maybe get the red tape out of the way, get the red tape out of the way and allow those businesses to come into West Virginia. That's how come we got Nucor in Mason County. That's how come we got Berkshire Hathaway. And so, we have to have an open door to economic development, and we have to do it together. There has to be a consensus between the executive branch, the Senate, and the House, and our higher education partners to get that done.
Senator, the governor and the first lady have endorsed your opponent. I'd like to understand what your thoughts are about those two weighing into a Senate race. I'd also like to ask you, do you feel like you've been targeted by the Morrisseys? And if so, why?
Yeah, and now the governor and the first lady, they can endorse whoever they want. That's their privilege, and they can do that. However, I feel like that, I have been targeted because I represent the people in my district. And I swore an oath many years ago and continue to uphold that oath to protect and serve the interests of all the constituents in my district and the people of West Virginia. And based upon a series of conversations over the years, since I first put my name in the hat back in 21, I feel like that the Morrisseys have made it clear that they wanted my vote, and they truly want my vote. They want to keep their stranglehold on the Senate like they have right now. And with me, with my background, I don't represent the Morrises. I represent the constituents of West Virginia and in my 10th senatorial district. And I can't be bought. I can't be, I can't be bullied. And that's how come you get all these negative mailers that are not worth the paper that they're written on. And because all those negative mailers come from PACs that have supported the Morrises in the 24 campaign. And it's really sad. It really is sad that it's went that way because, ultimately I want what's best for West Virginia. I want to build a consensus, and I do that. I ask my other partners in the House and the Senate, and for that matter, the people that I serve in the district. I take their ideas and we discuss them, build a consensus around it, and then we pass, effective legislation. We did that historically over the past 4 years, and that is good government. And unfortunately, the Morrises want me to be bought and paid for, and I'm not. I'm not going to do that for the people of West Virginia.
Talking to State Senator Vince Deeds in the Senate 10th District, running for re-election. With that said, Vince, with Governor Morrisey endorsing your opponent, can you work with the governor if you are re-elected after he has endorsed your opponent?
I can. I mean, of course, with my background and my proven history of being able to work with most difficult crimes. Okay, I mean, I'm used to working with people that I may not agree with initially, but we have to work together to get a consensus. Now, I believe the Morriseys have made a very a very difficult decision, and I don't agree with their decision with making all these negative mailers and getting in all these races, because all they have done is made it so difficult to build that bridge back. We and we know anyone that follows the legislative sessions, that's been difficult enough in 25 and 26. Now with the Morriseys being engaged and heavily engaged in this election process in the midterms, it's beyond just endorsing candidates. They're actively sending out negative mailers through their PACs. That's all out-of-state money and out-of-state influence. All these negative mailers have been coming in, and we're not talking about issues. I mean, honestly, that's the problem. We need to be talking about the economy. We need to be talking about our education systems and our child welfare and our infrastructure. And because we're just, ultimately 25 and 26, we just haven't got much done. And to contrast that with 23 and 24, in my experience down there, we moved the needle a lot then. And now it seems like we're just barely treading water.
I want to talk about the agenda, because you said there's more work to do. Talk about what the agenda would look like if that Morrisey faction, for lack of a better term, wins enough seats to control the Senate. Vince, help us paint the picture of what is at stake on your agenda versus what you think the agenda will be if the Senate is ultimately controlled by the Morrisey faction.
If the Morrisey faction takes over, we'll have more of the same discontent and division that we've had in 25 and 26. I mean, we all know, and I'll just be brutally honest, we all know that in 25 and 26 there's been a division in the Senate, and the Morriseys do not believe in three branches of government. They truly don't. They really have a stranglehold on the Senate right now. And so with that being said, it just stalls out all the progress. And social issues are important. Okay, I don't want to minimize that, absolutely, but we have dealt with social issues at length. Now is the time, and with a good common sense Senate, we will be able to deal with those issues that put monies back in our citizens' pockets. They can have good jobs and have a a very well-tuned education system, and also take care of our most precious children through the child welfare system, but and develop infrastructure, because we have to pay the bills. You have to pay the bills first. We know that. I mean, I grew up on a dairy farm, and really there was only 5 of us there, but we whenever it was my mom, my dad, and my brother and sister, but we knew at the beginning of every day that if we all didn't pull together and work and get the chores done, we couldn't pay the bills. And so we have to get together and work together. And I believe a good common sense Senate will be engaged and be narrowly focused on the economy and on our education system, on our child welfare, and on all the infrastructure that we have here in the state.
Vince, about 30 seconds. Why should Republicans support you when they head to the polls on May 12th?
We tried, tested, and proven. I have a good voting record. Everybody can look at that, and I'm tried, tested, and proven there. And beyond that, I won't change. I protect and serve the people of West Virginia. I've done that my whole adult life, and it is vitally important for me to continue to do that. I'm going to protect the citizens in my district and across West Virginia. And I will. I have an open door, and my phone's always on. People can come by and visit anytime that they want. I like discussing. That's why all these issues, because I believe that's why God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, is so we can discuss these issues and listen twice as much as what we talk, come to a consensus, get effective legislation that is good, common sense, conservative legislation, and improve West Virginia.
Vince Deeds running for re-election to the state Senate in the 10th District. Again, the election is May 12th. Early voting begins April 29th. Tomorrow is the final day to update or register to vote in the May primary. Vince, appreciate the time this morning. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Coming up, we'll talk to Howard Monroe and remember the life and career of Congressman David McElhinny when we return.
The rule of law protects our communities. Integrity protects our values. Conservative Justice Gerald Titus spent his career fighting for both. As a prosecutor, Titus took on criminals and traffickers. Now, as a justice, he applies the law as written, fairly and independently. Endorsed by law enforcement, he stands with those who protect and serve. Because when courts uphold the law, criminals are held accountable and communities are safer. For Justice Titus, it's personal.
I'm Justice Gerald Titus. I spent my career upholding the rule of law. I was born here, raised here, and now my wife and I are raising our family in West Virginia. We need judges who are fair and apply the law as written and protect the rights of all our citizens.
Vote to keep conservative Justice Gerald Titus on the West Virginia Supreme Court. Vote early or on May 12th. Paid for by Titus for Supreme Court.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
Diabetic neuropathy is the most common complication of diabetes, causing burning, tingling, and stabbing sensations in the feet. The fellowship-trained, board-certified experts at the WVU Medicine Center for Integrative Pain Management provide spinal cord stimulation to treat this pain, using electrical pulses in the spinal cord to block pain signals. Visit wvumedicine.org/pain or call 855-WVU-CARE for an appointment.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan. We are here for you.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Touchdown! We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
The region's largest restoration firm, responding from 5 locations. When disaster strikes your home or business, call Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off, or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Late on Friday, we learned of the death of longtime public servant, professional engineer, former Congressman David McElhinny. He passed away at the age of 79. He served in the House of Representatives. He had served in the House of Delegates. He served as the GOP state party chair. He's a Northern Panhandler. So is Howard Monroe, WVLY Watchdog Radio Network. Howard, good morning. Thanks for joining us. When you hear David McElhinny, what do you think?
Of a fair and reasonable Republican that I could argue with and still stay friends with. We would fight aggressively about policy and politics, did it frequently on my show throughout most of his career, certainly during his time as a congressman. And when we'd hang up the phone, we'd, talk about going out and having a cup of coffee. He is the kind of gentlemanly elected official, and I think public servant is the perfect word to use for him, phrase to use for him, that we need more of and that we are losing. The kind of person that is willing to make his case, argue it strongly with you, have strong feelings, and yet doesn't become so nasty and so personal, as so many of them today do. He'll be really missed. I enjoyed working with him almost all of his political career as both a reporter and talk show host from the beginning. And I just found him to be a delightful guy. Kept in touch with him after his defeat in his last election. And would bump into him from time to time. We had good conversation. It's an absolutely delightful guy, even though we never agreed. And there was an awkward election. You guys probably don't know this because nobody pays attention to McKinley was going to win. My daughter-in-law ran against him in a couple of elections ago, and that was a little sort of awkward. Your friend David McElhinny, I'm running against him. So, but those are my thoughts, and I was deeply saddened when I heard about it on Friday.
Howard, I saw on a piece over the weekend, this was a description given to him. I'd like your reaction. More Rotary Club than social media. What do you think when you hear that?
I think it is both literally true
yeah.
and also figuratively true. you were more likely to see him in person than you were to see him on social media. In fact, I don't know that I ever saw him on social media. I got to stop and think. I don't know that he ever did social media. Certainly, I never communicated with him that way. But yeah, that's a great line. I don't know who said it, but that is a great line. He was more Rotary Club than social media. And he was a visible congressman. You would see him. Now, of course, he was from Wheeling, so that makes it a little bit different. But he was a visible congressman. You would see him around town. You would see him. I'm not talking about going to public events, but I'm talking about you'd see him in restaurants. You'd see him talking to people at Center Market. You would see him, just a normal guy of Wheeling wandering around town. And he was open to talking to constituents. Again, the kind of public servant you wish we had more of, and we do not anymore.
Howard Monroe, Watchdog Radio Network, WVLY, up in Wheeling. I think you hit the nail on the head, Howard. Gentlemanly. A one word to describe David McElhinny. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts this morning. We appreciate it.
You got it, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good day.
You as well. We have more on David McElhinny's life and career over at the website this morning, WVMetroNews.com. Coming up, we'll talk to Justice Gerald Titus, running for State Supreme Court in Division 1. This is Talkline on Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia. It's 10:30. Let's get a news update from the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening all across the great state of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Solango Law. Get results, no excuses.
Yeah, plan for a colder than average couple of days here. Most of us in the state have frost advisories or freeze warnings, and a lot of these will have frost advisories and freeze warnings again tonight. So continue to make any preparations. Protect those pets, pipes, and plants out there with the frosty and freezing temps. Middle of the week, all time a warm front, so there will be some chances of rain showers that look likely for a lot of us Wednesday. Potentially a few thunderstorms and some of the high elevations wrapping up some snow showers or already wrapped up early in the day. That strong cold frontal passage is likely already gone to the east. High pressure will work in on our chilly day. For your fly CRW forecast, it starts at home. Chilly for a lot of the eastern areas of the United States, too. 55 in Washington, D.C., before warming back up to 73. Tampa near 86 today. Myrtle Beach near 70. From Panhandle to Panhandle, highs flirting with 50 up to the north here. Even some upper 40s with dry conditions and frosty and freezing temps expected again tonight. 32 to 28 or so. So still take those precautions for more frosts and freeze that are expected tonight. High elevations, wintry mixes or snow showers are coming to an end or have already ended, with highs in the 40s and low 50s and freezing temps expected again tonight. Lots of mid to upper 20s overnight. Central to northern areas, lots of us will be dry, sunny, and cooler than average, with highs around 50, give or take, and mid-20s to some low 30s. Frost advisories or freeze warnings expected again tonight. Highs upper 40s to near 60 at the very most in southern West Virginia, and frost advisories or freeze warnings expected tonight. Lows in the 30s and 20s. 74 tomorrow. Rain and storms look likely on Wednesday. 83 Thursday, 86 Friday, and rain and storms likely again for the end of the week and the weekend with our next front coming in.
This is Ben Solango with Solango Law. Solango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted Best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Solango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Solango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at Solango Law.
When you hired me, you were 29. You seemed like you were 50 when you were 29. You were running that thing like a 50-year-old man. All right, we got to go get some tape. Come on, get out of there.
I think I've sort of always been 50, and I think I'm 50 now.
Yeah, me too.
That's a great point.
Join Tony Carini, Brad Howe, and Hoppy Kercheval for 3 Guys Before the Game. Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
Coming up 10 minutes from now, Brad McElhinny will join us. The latest on the Greenbrier saga. We'll get an update with Brad A little bit later on, Jonathan Savage, Fox News Radio, will get the latest on the ceasefire that is coming to an end. Will there be more peace talks? What about the ships from Iran trying to bust through the blockade? We'll get an update around 11:20 this morning with Fox News Radio's Jonathan Savage. Joining me in the Encova Insurance Studios here in Charleston is State Supreme Court Justice Gerald Titus, running for election in Division 1. He was appointed to the State Supreme Court in November 2025 to fill an unexpired term, and now he is asking for your vote. He joins us in the studio this morning. Justice, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for allowing me to be here.
How's the campaign trail so far?
It's busy. It's good. It's great to meet with so many people. I love getting out around the state. You know, you learn a lot about, how to get from point A to point B. I've taken the extreme southern route. When I've gone from Beckley over to the Eastern Panhandle, I refused to drive through Virginia. And so I've maybe paid the price for that a little bit, but, it's just good to be all over West Virginia.
So you've said courts should stay in their constitutional lane. What does that mean to you?
Well, we all, we go back in time to, our time in elementary school, learning about the separation of powers and, just the fundamentals for that. For me, courts, judges should not legislate, should not wade into policy issues. They should let those leaders lead and simply apply the law. My job is very simple, I think. It doesn't mean that it's easy. I mean, there are times that it's weighty and challenging, but for our government to function properly, I think the court plays a vital but limited role in government.
Mr. Justice, good morning. I want to go a bit deeper on that. There's two schools of thought, I think, primarily about how to interpret the Constitution. I've been asking all of those that are running for the court this question. Are you a textualist, which is what does the text actually say, or are you an originalist, meaning you try to interpret what the founders had in mind?
Yeah, I'm very much a textualist. I mean, even Justice Antonin Scalia, U.S. Supreme Court Justice, who I think a lot of people see as a paragon of conservative judicial philosophy, he said for himself, I'm not an originalist and nobody should be. And it's just, in my view, very difficult to subjectively discern intent of a multi-person legislative body. And so for me, it's very much focus on the words, focus on the text. If the legislature used that word, we're going to assume that they know what that word means, and it's a way to, I think, provide some predictability and stability to the work of the court.
State Supreme Court Justice Gerald Titus joining us. He's running for election in Division 1. How does child welfare and foster care, specifically those two areas, how does that factor into the court, and what can you do from the court to improve those systems?
Well, it's an issue that I'm passionate about and have been passionate about since before joining the court. It's a little bit different perspective now to look at it from the legal perspective versus looking at it from a civic or charitable perspective. Obviously we have more foster children in West Virginia than lawyers. There's a lot of systemic reasons why we're there. But again, it just goes back to for me, doing my part means doing my job, not trying to do anybody else's job. But 40% of the Supreme Court's docket concerns child abuse and neglect cases. And so almost half of what we do concerns child abuse and neglect. In the circuit courts, it's going to be a higher percentage of that. It's going to vary by county, and it's somewhat anecdotal. I'm asking folks as I'm going around. But so for me, there's an administrative responsibility for the court to try to help those cases move to their lawful conclusion as quickly as possible. You have to factor in, of course, the best interest of the child. There are parental constitutional rights at play. There's issues of permanency. We're trying, I think the law should try to achieve permanency as quickly as possible within the bounds of the law, because you have a child that needs to find a home, that needs to be able to grow and be a child and not be bounced around from this house or that house. And so, for me, all I can do is my part, which is to apply the law, and then make sure we move administratively as quickly as possible.
Your Honor, there have been attempts in the legislature, as you well know. Right now, we elect judges on a nonpartisan basis. There have been attempts this past session included to make those elections partisan. Some legislators say that the electorate should know if you have an R or a D or have always been an independent, that kind of thing. What is your take on that issue?
Well, just first and foremost, that's going to be a legislative issue. If they do that, that's what the legislature has done, and they're accountable to their voters for that. So, for me personally, I have enjoyed running as a nonpartisan candidate. It has been a great opportunity for me to speak to both Republican groups and Democrat groups, and kind of hear people's perspectives from both sides. I mean, my personal view, just of doing my job, is that there should be no politics in judging. I don't decide cases based on politics or social status or where you're from or who you are. It's just based upon the law. And so, I personally, I have enjoyed being a nonpartisan candidate, but that's going to be something for the legislature to look at.
Talking to Justice Gerald Titus, candidate for the West Virginia Supreme Court Division I. When the law is not cut and clear, and there's this gray area, and you have to make a ruling on that, how do you weigh all the information in front of you to come to a ruling that is consistent with the state constitution, the national constitution, and the law that's on the books?
Well, I'm very fortunate that I don't have to do that alone. There are 5 Supreme Court justices, and we have a healthy debate within our chambers. If somebody disagrees with me, I ask them, why are you going to vote that way? Try to win my vote. People will do that the same with me. Of course, there's a lot of intense research that goes into it, and we decide cases based on the record. What's in front of us. Obviously, I think your viewers probably most everybody knows we don't take evidence at the Supreme Court. We don't have a witness stand. We just have to get into the records. You listen to the arguments, and in my view, the answer isn't final till the opinion is signed. And there are several steps along the way where we, as a collective group of justices, try to get to the right result. And so really it's just like anything. It's hard work, it's teamwork, and it's just, I think, intentionality to try to get to the right result under the law.
Mr. Justice, let me caveat by saying this wasn't during your tenure on the court, but a while back, a few years back, the court went through some tough times. There were some perception issues. There were clearly some things going on that weren't above board. Your opinion, how has the court overcome those perceptions, and is it in a good place today?
Well, I think it is in a great place, and I love that you use the word overcome. That means a lot to me, and I know it'll mean a lot to the other justices as well. I think it goes back to being mindful. What you're talking about, I lived through as a lawyer. It was, a terrible black eye on our state. I mean, there are people out of state that still ask me about it sometimes. And so it's, I think, incumbent upon us to continue to maintain public confidence in the judiciary, which I think at that time was rightfully shaken. Not necessarily the opinions that came out, but just more the just what you're talking about. And so yeah, I think it's something that is front of mind every day as we do our jobs.
Justice Gerald Titus, candidate for Supreme Court Division I. 30 seconds left. Why should voters support you on May 12th?
Well, I think it's important for people to know that at 48 years old, after 22 years of a varied legal practice, I just found myself in a place where I wanted to do more, where I wanted to put that experience to use. I'm in the absolute prime of my legal career. I don't feel that I feel that I have the most to give now as I ever will, and I want to do what I can to make West Virginia a great place for my kids to come back and other people's children to come back. And the way I do that is doing my part, which is what I know how to do, which is legal analysis, adherence to the Constitution, and as you said, staying in my own constitutional lane.
The election, this is the election for the state Supreme Court, comes up on May 12th. Early voting starts April 29th. Justice Gerald Titus, candidate for State Supreme Court Division I. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it.
I do too. Thanks so much.
Brad McElhinny coming up next, the latest on the Greenbrier saga.
Senator Shelley Moore Capito is more than a true conservative and proud West Virginian. She's a champion of our way of life. She doesn't just fight, she delivers, working with President Trump to close the border and keep our families safe.
protect our energy jobs, and cut taxes. And establishing the New River Gorge National Park, a powerful economic engine. Shelley Moore Capito, our senator, our champion.
I'm Shelley Moore Capito, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Capito for West Virginia.
Looking to advance your career without putting life on hold? Earn your MBA from Glenville State University in as little as 18 months. Choose from in-demand concentrations like artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and healthcare administration. Whether you're leading teams, analyzing data, or protecting digital systems, our programs are designed for working professionals who want flexibility and results. Take the next step with an MBA from Glenville State University. Learn more and apply today at glenville.edu.
Are you ready to reach the finish line of retirement? At the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group, we provide comprehensive guidance for retirement planning in West Virginia. With years of experience, we'll draft a plan tailored for your unique goals. Whether you're just starting or nearing retirement, we make the process as simple as possible, easy, and stress-free. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike to set up a complimentary consultation and get started on your plan today. Let's work toward your dream retirement together.
Welcome back, class of 2011.
Most likely to be a millionaire, didn't quite make it.
Hey, reunion's not over yet.
Over here, millionaire, smile.
Make room, people.
Who is that?
Congratulations to our very own Millionaire for Life!
Never too late, man.
You could win up to $1 million every year with Millionaire for Life. Play in store or online today. West Virginia Lottery. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Patients who have allergies and sinusitis, they have worse quality of life on many levels. At the WVU Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center, we provide all the most recent technology in office procedures to help patients who cannot breathe through their nose. Patients come in, within half an hour they can leave. Whatever problem with the sinus and allergy you're having, we can help you get the right treatment.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
For your daily fix of sports in West Virginia, there's only one stop.
I would imagine a group of you got together and watched the Mountaineers last night. What were your thoughts on that performance?
It was funny, we were sitting with a guy last night, and he said, all right, I'm going to go put $1,000 on it. Well, down the stretch of that ball game, he's looking at us like, are you kidding me? And sure enough, the Mountaineers came back. I saw him today. He said, yep, I'm putting another $1,000 on them tomorrow.
Sportsline on Metro News Television.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
.com.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
304 Talk 304 is the text line, 800-765 Talk, the phone number. Latest edition as the Greenbrier turns. A federal judge overseeing a move to place the Greenbrier Hotel under the authority of a third-party caretaker is now scheduled a date to hear evidence early next month. MetroNews statewide correspondent Brad McElhinny joins us for the latest in this ongoing legal wrangling. Brad, good morning.
Oh, hello. Good morning. Yes, that's U.S. District Judge Frank Volk, and he entered that order on Friday. So we got a milestone here. This is going to come to a head, potentially, in Judge Volk's courtroom, 9:30 a.m., May 11th. Notably for your calendars, that is the day after Mother's Day, the day before the West Virginia primary election. So wedged right there in the middle with a little bit of drama. It's an evidentiary hearing, so that constitutes really a mini trial where each side will be able to put forth evidence. This is heavy. This is potentially taking away control of a West Virginia gym, the historic Greenbrier Hotel, taking that away from the family of a U.S. senator. So will one day of the judge hearing evidence regarding the financial practices of the justices, or the justices contending that that the owners of the Omni resorts have gone through what they have characterized as fraudulent behavior to get to this point, will one day be enough to settle this heavy matter? We shall see, but we got a date to put in the calendar right now.
Brad, I'm taking a look at the ruling here, page 2. Judge Volk does not seem like a happy camper to me in terms of some of the filings and different things that have occurred up until this point. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, I said chastising is my verb. To me, it was a little eye-popping. I've read a lot of these sort of boilerplate scheduling orders, but this one right out of the gate chastises both the lawyers for TRT Holdings, which represents the owners of the Omni Resorts and Hotels, and chastises the Justice financial legal team for the way it's carrying out its interactions with the court. It's a little bit, I think for Toby and Edith, kind of in the weeds, probably what the judge is arguing about here, but he's already laying down some markers saying, look, you got to abide by the rules of the court here if we're going to go forward in an organized fashion, and saying that doing so is the way that the court tries to ensure that the process is fair. So really, really going after both sides for the way they've entered their orders, the way they've conducted themselves so far, and I think trying to set a tone before this evidentiary hearing.
MetroNews statewide correspondent Brad McElhinny. Brad, Forbes has also been following this story. That had an article over the weekend. Much of the information was information you have already reported, but Forbes did get some comments from TRT Holdings, and it gives a little bit of insight into that meeting that spurred the Justice lawsuit in circuit court, where there was at least an attempt for an amicable relationship.
Mm-hmm. So this article does acknowledge a April 6th meeting at the Greenbrier between Jim Justice, leading the Justice family group, and the Rollings, the father and son duo, Bob and Blake Rolling. And then, somewhere along the way, things went sour. Don't know quite when that happened, but this article, I think, has a really interesting quote from Blake Rolling. This is again in Forbes. Quote, "We went there in good faith to try to work with them. The threatening nature in which they handled the meeting was not in the spirit of partnership and did not encourage us to try to make a deal." That is a different expression of the tone than we have heard previously. I think it, represents a lack of trust. TJ and I, maybe a week ago, speculated that maybe this would end. Even though it's in court right now, we speculated that maybe it's posturing and leveraging, and maybe in the end, the two sides, Omni and Justice, come out with some sort of workable relationship. I still think the financial factors are the main thing. Can you work it out financially? But in any business relationship, trust is a key issue. I hear less and less of that, especially in this language. The threatening nature in which they handled the meeting was not in the spirit of partnership, is what Blake Rolling says.
It's a fair assessment, Brad. The justices have upped the ante here with the addition of Raj Cohen to their legal team. Explain who he is and why he matters.
Raj Cohen is a West Virginian, so he is a figure that West Virginians could and should take pride in. He has been, over the years, at the center of all kinds of financial law. Particularly, he was very busy in the Wall Street meltdown of 2009, representing Wall Street investors in their kinds of defense of their interests. Has been profiled by the New York Times over the years. And, I think the justice finances, it's well established, are complicated in many ways. And so to have someone with expertise in financial complications is helpful. But I also think it's symbolic, represents sort of, even though you are Texas billionaires, Rollings, we are going to come with our own high-powered legal team. I think that's what it symbolizes. But a New York Times article in 2023, just a couple years ago, called Raj Cohen, a Charleston native, "The Banking Industry's Go-To Crisis Advisor." So that about sums up our situation here.
MetroNews statewide correspondent Brad McElhinny. Read his latest over at the website, wvmetronews.com. Thank you, as always, Brad.
Hey, thanks.
Cruise into spring with West Virginia Lottery's 40th anniversary celebration. There are 40 ways to win 4K and 4 cruise packages up for grabs. Play in-store and online and enter for your chance to win cash or a cruise. Details at wvlottery.com. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly.
Looking for a career that truly matters? Healthcare offers stability, great benefits, and careers that are in demand right now. From patient care to technology and support roles, healthcare careers offer flexibility and opportunity. Not sure where you fit? Take the quick healthcare career quiz at explorehealthcareerswv.com. Discover the path that's right for you. Healthcare careers, where passion meets purpose.
They say you can't take the lottery with you. But now, you can play anywhere, anytime with iPlay, the West Virginia Lottery's official app. From Cooper's Rock to the Greenbrier River, from the bleachers to your living room, iPlay goes where you do. Safe, simple, and always West Virginia proud. Play anywhere, anytime. Download iPlay today. iPlay, the fun, secure way to play, wherever life takes you. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
Senator Shelley Moore Capito is more than a true conservative and proud West Virginian. She's a champion of our way of life. She doesn't just fight, she delivers, working with President Trump to close the border and keep our families safe, protect our energy jobs, and cut taxes, and establishing the New River Gorge National Park, a powerful economic engine. Shelley Moore Capito, our senator, our champion.
I'm Shelley Moore Capito, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Capito for West Virginia.
Coal-based generation remains the backbone of West Virginia's energy portfolio, ensuring reliability, security, and affordable electricity throughout the region. Our coal plants are engineered for performance, designed to run most efficiently at or near a 70% capacity factor. This level of operation is not arbitrary. It's based on sound engineering principles, scientific analysis, and has been formally adopted by the West Virginia Legislature as a reasonable target for optimal performance. When our coal fleet operates near that benchmark, it provides stable power to the grid, maintains cost efficiency, and supports thousands of good-paying jobs across our state. Coal generation also drives local tax revenue that sustains schools, infrastructure, and community services. Working in partnership with state leaders and the Trump administration, we're ensuring that our coal fleet remains modern, efficient, and ready to power West Virginia and beyond for decades to come. This message brought to you by the West Virginia Coal Association and Friends of Coal.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
One hour down, one to go. Coming up, what do you think about grid reliability, energy reliability as far as it comes to political candidates? We'll get into some polling. Jonathan Savage with the latest from the Middle East, what's going on with Iran, the blockade, and possible peace talks. Plus, we'll meet Vince George, running for Congress in the 1st District. This is Talkline on Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, no excuses.
Yeah, plan for a colder than average couple of days here. Most of us in the state have frost advisories or freeze warnings, and a lot of these will have frost advisories and freeze warnings again tonight. So continue to make any preparations. Protect those pets, pipes, and plants out there with the frosty and freezing temps. Middle of the week, all time a warm front, so there will be some chances of rain showers that look likely for a lot of us Wednesday. Potentially a few thunderstorms and some of the high elevations wrapping up some snow showers or already wrapped up early in the day. That strong cold frontal passage is likely already gone to the east. High pressure will work in on our chilly day. For your fly CRW forecast, it starts at home. Chilly for a lot of the eastern areas of the United States, too. 55 in Washington, D.C., before warming back up to 73. Tampa near 86 today. Myrtle Beach near 70. From Panhandle to Panhandle, highs flirting with 50 up to the north here. Even some upper 40s with dry conditions and frosty and freezing temps expected again tonight, 32 to 28 or so. So still take those precautions for more frosts and freeze that are expected tonight. High elevations, wintry mixes or snow showers are coming to an end or have already ended, with highs in the 40s and low 50s and freezing temps expected again tonight. Lots of mid to upper 20s overnight. Central to northern areas, lots of us will be dry, sunny, and cooler than average with highs around 50, give or take, and mid-20s to some low 30s. Frost advisories or freeze warnings expected again tonight. Highs upper 40s to near 60 at the very most in southern West Virginia, and frost advisories or freeze warnings expected tonight. Lows in the 30s and 20s. 74 tomorrow. Rain and storms look likely on Wednesday. 83 Thursday, 86 Friday, and rain and storms likely again for the end of the week and the weekend with our next front coming in.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Second hour of MetroNews Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios. Dave in Morgantown, TJ's in Charleston, Sophia Wasick, our audio producer. If you're listening in on one of the great radio affiliates across the state of West Virginia, you can thank Sophia this morning. Also, Jake handles the video side of things. Jake Link, our video producer, if you're watching on the MetroNews TV app, Facebook Live, or YouTube as well. Multiple ways you can consume this program. Multiple ways you can be part of it. 800-765-TALK's the phone number. 304-TALK. 304 is the text line. Bottom of the hour, we'll visit with Vince George. He is one of the Republicans running in District 1. Never thought of that as District 1, but it is District 1 for the U.S. House of Representatives. We'll meet him bottom of the hour. Jonathan Savage, Fox News Radio, joins us in a little bit as well. Say good morning once again to TJ Meadows. He is captain of the ship on Virginia Street. Good morning, TJ.
It's a scary thought. It's a lot to keep up with in the election, though, because just for the statewide offices, so you're talking about 2 congressional districts, U.S. Senate race, and then the Supreme Court justices. There are, 28 candidates, I think, that we're going through. It's a lot to keep up with. Yeah, a lot to keep up with.
It is the busy season. By the way, tomorrow, last day to register to vote or update your voter registration status. You have been warned. So, what do you think about energy reliability? Well, I'm not asking TJ. We know what he thinks about energy reliability. But there has been some polling conducted. A majority of West Virginians find that they favor candidates focused on grid reliability. West Virginians for Reliable and Affordable Energy has partnered with MBE Research to conduct the poll, and we have this morning in the studio with TJ in Charleston, CEO of MBE Research, Mark Blankenship. Mark, good morning.
How are you, sir?
Doing great, and we have from West Virginians for Reliable and Affordable Energy, Craig Blair joining us via Zoom this morning. Craig, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Glad you guys could be here. So, Mark, let's start with you. Kind of give us the broad overview of what your polling found, talking to West Virginians about grid reliability and the elections.
Sure. So this was a pretty thorough survey. It was 600 West Virginia registered voters. It was representative of population and demographics across the state, and the margin of error is plus or minus about 4 on that, I believe. And so I think one of the first things we have to understand is look at this through the prism of what is most important to West Virginia voters right now, whether you're talking about Democrats, Republicans, or independents. Those three things are the same, if not stronger now than they were 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It's the economy, it's job creation, and it's the cost of living, right? Those are the three issues that are motivating public opinion. So, or public perceptions on any number of issues. And when you look at this survey data, we asked about the electricity grid, basically, and we found that 68% not only said that this should be a priority, meaning upgrading the grid, upgrading the reliability of electricity in West Virginia, 95% said it's an important priority. But of them, 68% said it should be a very important priority. So, we asked that scale, is it very important, somewhat important, not very important, or not at all important? And 68%, 7 in 10 voters said that this should be very important. And it should not shock our conscience to hear that number, because what does a more reliable electricity grid provide? And voters connect those dots. A lot of times we don't give them credit for connecting the dots between issues 1 and 2. With a more reliable electricity grid, you can improve the economy. Companies that move into West Virginia need reliable electricity. Mm-hmm. They believe that they need themselves more reliable electricity and more affordable electricity. Both of these things and improved electrical grid can address both of those things. So if it's addressing the economy and it's addressing their cost of living, or could address their cost of living by lowering it, of course they're going to support it, right? It's a no-brainer.
Before we drill deeper into the analysis here, Marl is a big topic. Mon, Preston counties. Did you poll there? And if so, what did you see?
We did, and we saw, as background, you should also understand that when I look at all of this data, I look beneath it to see if there's any variability, whether it's with Republicans versus Democrats, independents, men versus women, or geographies. And what we found in the Clarks, we call them media markets, but in the Monongalia, Preston, Mineral, and Hampshire counties that are affected by new projects, 68% say that this should be very important. So it's the exact same as the whole of West Virginia. Support is as strong in the areas most impacted by some of these projects as it is in areas where maybe there's not discussion of upgraded grid modernization.
Craig, I want to bring you into the conversation. Mark Blankenship with MBE Research and Craig Blair representing West Virginians for Reliable and Affordable Energy. Craig, as a former state lawmaker, former state Senate president, if you're a lawmaker and you're looking at this data and this research, what would be your takeaway?
Well, I take it and factor that in with what I'm hearing from the people in the area. The problem what we live with nowadays is that you have a lot of Facebook warriors out here, and it makes a lot of noise. People that are no votes will actually have a tendency of screaming and shouting down to people that are concerned or that are in favor of something like this, and so they go quietly. But this polling like this actually shows different. We actually did a petition as well, have over 7,200 signatures, and that petition was submitted to the legislature, both houses of that, and it was given to the governor as well, so that they could see that there is support out there for the transmission lines, the upgrading of them and new improvements. Another thing we have to keep in mind too is that West Virginia is a major energy exporter right now, and with the governor's 50-50 energy plan, we're going to be even more of an exporter, and it doesn't do us any good to generate that electricity if we can't take it to a market to where there's value. And I sound like a broken record sometimes, but transmission lines makes it so that when you're taking it to market out of state as an export product, which by the way generates over $700 million of to our economy, and over 87,000 jobs are affected by that. But then you're also creating a backbone network in state that you can actually do further developments like the new cores, the commercial metals, wherever it may be, for manufacturing or any type of energy demand.
Take us behind the curtain of economic development, Craig, because you've been in a lot of these conversations, obviously your role in state government. When you're sitting down with these large counterparties and they're talking about potential for investment in West Virginia, just how important is electricity as part of that conversation? And give us a sense of what that does to the outcome, depending on what we have here and what we don't.
Well, the electricity is one of the most important things that comes into play, and it's the availability of it, and the reliability and the affordability. It's sort of where the name of our organization came from, reliable and affordable. When these businesses come in, they're concerned about that. They're concerned about workforce, but that is the key ingredient on being able to make this happen. Are we attracting data centers? Yes. And the reason for it is 5 years ago, data centers had no interest in West Virginia and the fossil fuel style of energy that we produce. That's off the table now. They no longer care about that because being able to move the data and keep that system functioning is stronger than it's ever been. West Virginia has a huge opportunity here now to be able to move forward. And I think Governor Morrissey recognizes that, and he's on the right path with the 50-50 initiative, 50 gigawatts of power by 2050. That's a huge initiative, and it's great for the people of West Virginia. We will solidify ourselves in the Mid-Atlantic to the East Coast as the energy producer, but we, again, have to have the ability to transmit that power both to out-of-state and to the businesses that need that energy to be able to manufacture something in-state.
Craig, this is Mark again. I also want to, before we break here, it's really important because Craig said, he sort of talked about the squeaky wheel gets the oil. And I think that's politically very true. We're in political season. So we ask the question, are you as a voter, are you more likely or less likely to vote for a candidate who supports grid modernization, improving the grid, making it more reliable, making your own electricity more reliable? 65% said they're more likely to vote for a candidate who supports these reliability upgrades. And very few, I think it was 15%, said that they would be less likely. And that's across the state, even in those areas that you just talked about, the Monongalia region all the way to southern West Virginia. They're more likely to support candidates that support these initiatives and improvements. So the onus is not on, the political onus or risk is not on supporting it. In my estimation, if you oppose something like this and voters want economic development, they want job creation, and they want lower costs, you're going to have to answer to voters why you didn't support something that could address those three issues. I think it's very apparent.
Mark, did you ask specifically if voters supported the Monroe transmission line or not?
Not that specific project, but we asked voters in that area if they supported, kind of these more general things. And like I said, it was 58% in that area in Mon, Preston, Mineral, and Hampshire counties. 58% said they'd be more likely to support a candidate who supports those kinds of projects.
Let me ask you this. We had Chris Beam on a few weeks ago from First Energy, and he was talking to us about the new natural gas-powered power plant that they're going to build up in Mon County. He said something interesting. He talked about the fact that the more electricity that we export, Craig, especially from the regulated utilities, all of that goes into bringing bills down. It's a credit for customers. Do you believe that most West Virginians understand that, sir? Because, frankly, I don't think they do.
You're asking me that question?
Well, sure.
No, they don't understand that. They don't understand that when the energy and how it is actually put out to market and where the demand is, that the revenues actually come back to the state. And because it is a monopoly, or state-regulated monopoly here, then the excess of the profits that they make actually go back to decrease the rates for the people of West Virginia. Monongalia Power, First Energy, they actually are doing a rate reduction right now. But to see, this is coming back to the transmission. If we don't upgrade and build new transmission in this state, what we're going to end up doing is being landlocked, and those needs are going to be filled elsewhere. And then because of loss of population, then our rates are going to continue to go higher and higher. This is really one of the driving reasons why the rates have went up over the last 2 decades, is because we have been, our ratepayers, there's less and less of them paying for it. Let's use another example of Amos Power Plant over there. At any given point in time is running at 40% of capacity. 40% of capacity. It's got another 60 to spare on being able to do that. And that's a coal-fired plant that has the ability to have 60 days of coal reserve. You can sort of tell in my heart where I'm at. I love coal-fired energy. I love all energy for that matter. And the transmission's what makes that happen.
Mark Blankenship with MBE Research, CEO of MBE Research, and Craig Blair with West Virginians for Reliable and Affordable Energy. Guys, interesting data. Appreciate you coming on. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Coming up, Jonathan Savage with an update from Iran.
I'm Tom Willis, running against Shelley Moore Capito for U.S. Senate. Sarah and I love raising our kids here in West Virginia. You're the best people in the world, and it has been my honor to serve West Virginia for 26 years in the West Virginia National Guard, including flood duties all over our great state, and now in the state Senate. Shelley has abandoned our West Virginia traditional Christian family values, is ranked as one of the top insider traders in the U.S. Senate, and instead of negotiating for West Virginia families, got her son appointed as DA. I'm Tom Willis, and I approve this message because it's time for a change, West Virginia.
Paid for by Tom Willis Victory.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
If you have a child who's a junior in high school in West Virginia or know someone that does, please listen up. Here's your opportunity to win a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan College that includes room, board, tuition, and fees. The 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program is presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. The deadline is May 3rd. For details, go to wvmetronews.com to apply. That's wvmetronews.com. Remember, application deadline is May 3rd.
Some relationships just work better with trust, reliability, and great communication. That's why more West Virginians are choosing CityNet Gig Fiber. Fast, symmetrical speeds, no contracts, no data caps, and local teams monitoring the network around the clock. Plus, for a limited time, new residential customers can get 50% off any internet plan for a full year, with plans starting as low as $25 a month. Check availability at your address. Visit citynet.net today. CityNet connects, protects, and perfects.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at wvhtf.org.
What do you know about hot dogs? Because we've been all about hot dogs this week.
I love hot dogs, and I love them with Miracle Whip.
Oh, God, I forgot. Never mind.
And onions.
Okay.
I actually, yesterday morning, I had a hot dog for breakfast at 6:45 with onions and Miracle Whip.
And with that, we'll be back right after this.
Join Dave Allen weekdays for midday on Metro News Television.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
The clock is ticking on the U.S.-Iran ceasefire. Over the weekend, the U.S. seized an Iranian-flagged cargo ship trying to get past the blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. Will there or will there not be peace talks? For, well, at least some insight, let's go to Fox News Radio's Jonathan Savage. Jonathan, good morning. What's the latest on the tenuous ceasefire at this point?
Yeah, good morning. I will do my best in terms of that insight that you're talking about. Iran is accusing the United States of breaching the ceasefire. And the reason they are saying that is because for the first time, the U.S. has boarded and seized a ship which it accuses of breaching the American blockade of Iranian ports and coastlines. This was a cargo ship which, according to the U.S. Central Command, refused, despite 6 hours of warnings, to change course. Central Command sent them a message saying, "Vacate your engine room. We're prepared to subject you to disabling fire." Well, they did fire, and then Marines from helicopters rappelled to board this vessel. Iran's top military command calls it maritime armed robbery, and they are vowing retaliation. All this at a time, this escalation at a time, when peace talks are meant to be on the agenda. Vice President J.D. Vance is expected to head to Pakistan tomorrow for high-level discussions. But at the moment, Iran's government says it's got no plans for the next round of negotiation, and they haven't even made a decision on whether they're going to attend.
Any positioning from the White House yet, Jonathan, that you know of as to what the president may do if Iran doesn't participate in the talks or we come to the deadline?
The president has made it clear, or certainly he has advised, that he will take down Iran's bridges and power plants if a deal is not made. President Trump speaking to Fox News' Trey Yingst over the weekend, saying if they don't sign this thing, the whole country is going to get blown up. President Trump believes that there is a deal on the table. He says they have agreed to much of it, but Iran has said, no, we haven't. They say that they've received a new peace offer from the United States, but there is still a very wide gap between the sides. So over the next 24, 48 hours, a decision will have to be made on whether peace talks will take place, whether the ceasefire will be extended, or will things escalate? Will President Trump go through with his threat?
Jonathan, do we know who is making the decisions in Iran at this point? On Friday, the strait was open. On Saturday, it was very specifically the IRGC that said nope, and they fired on a ship and that it's closed. Who's making the decisions about peace talks, about escalation engagement in Iran right now?
I mean, that is a very good question. We know who the people are who are holding the positions of power, but exactly how the power is shared out among them is a bit of a mystery. Iran has a supreme leader, and in theory, Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei should be the person making the ultimate decisions, but we haven't even seen him since he took office. We haven't heard his voice. He is, according to U.S. officials, maimed, wounded, but still alive. There is the president of Iran, Masoud Pezeshkian, who is less powerful than the president in many other countries. There's a foreign minister who's leading negotiations along with the Speaker of the Parliament. And then there are senior figures within the Revolutionary Guard, within that important military organization which exists to protect the regime. And according to some analysts, it appears as though the Iranian military has risen in power in recent times.
What's the status currently between Lebanon and Israel? Of course, they were a big part of that ceasefire on Friday. The president discounted the fact that the ceasefire there had anything to do with it. But I'm wondering how these developments over the weekend have affected what's happening on the ground with Lebanon and Israel.
Yeah, so Hezbollah, who Israel has been battling in Lebanon, has never said that it's interested in a ceasefire, despite the Lebanese government agreeing to it. Hezbollah claims that it destroyed 4 Israeli tanks over the weekend. Meanwhile, Israel is warning civilians to stay away from southern border areas, suggesting they may be preparing for an operation there. All this suggests that the ceasefire, the separate ceasefire involving Israel and Lebanon, may be fraying. We are hearing that more peace talks are planned between Israel and the government of Lebanon in Washington, D.C. on Thursday. That's according to Israeli military. So the 10-day ceasefire took effect last Thursday with more talks between Israel and Lebanon planned for later this week.
Fox News Radio's Jonathan Savage with the latest from the Middle East. Jonathan, thank you so much. We appreciate it as always.
Thank you.
Coming up, we're going to meet another candidate, Vince George, running for United States Congress in West Virginia's 1st District. Going to join us on the other side of the news break. We'll try to get in some text before we call it a day as well. 304-TALK, 304 is the text line. This is Talkline on MetroNews for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia. It's 11:30. Let's get a news update from the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening all over the great state of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, no excuses.
Yeah, plan for a colder than average couple of days here. Most of us in the state have frost advisories or freeze warnings, and a lot of these will have frost advisories and freeze warnings again tonight. So continue to make any preparations. Protect those pets, pipes, and plants out there with the frosty and freezing temps. Middle of the week, all time a warm front, so there will be some chances of rain showers that look likely for a lot of us Wednesday. Potentially a few thunderstorms and some of the high elevations wrapping up some snow showers or already wrapped up early in the day. That strong cold frontal passage is likely already gone to the east. High pressure will work in on our chilly day. For your fly CRW forecast, it starts at home. Chilly for a lot of the eastern areas of the United States, too. 55 in Washington, D.C., before warming back up to 73. Tampa near 86 today. Myrtle Beach near 70. From Panhandle to Panhandle. Highs flirting with 50 up to the north here. Even some upper 40s with dry conditions and frosty and freezing temps expected again tonight. 32 to 28 or so. So still take those precautions for more frosts and freeze that are expected tonight. High elevations, wintry mixes or snow showers are coming to an end or have already ended, with highs in the 40s and low 50s and freezing temps expected again tonight. Lots of mid to upper 20s overnight. Central to northern areas, lots of us will be dry, sunny, and cooler than average, with highs around 50, give or take, and mid-20s to some low 30s. Frost advisories or freeze warnings expected again tonight. Highs upper 40s to near 60 at the very most in southern West Virginia. And frost advisories or freeze warnings expected tonight. Lows in the 30s and 20s. 74 tomorrow. Rain and storms look likely on Wednesday. 83 Thursday, 86 Friday. And rain and storms likely again for the end of the week and the weekend with our next front coming in.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
When you hired me, you were 29. You seemed like you were 50 when you were 29. You were running that thing like a 50-year-old man. All right, we got to go get some tape. Come on, get out of there.
I think I've sort of always been 50, and I think I'm 50 now.
Yeah, me too.
That's a great point. Join Tony Caridi, Brad Howe, and Hoppy Kercheval for Three Guys Before the Game. Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at wvmetronewstv.com.
Talk 304 is the text line. 800-765-TALK. 800-765-8255. That's the text line. That's the phone number. Try to get connected with Vince George, Democrat running for Congress in the 1st District. Coming up, 304 Talk 304, the text line. All right, TJ, what do you make of that energy survey?
I'm not surprised necessarily. I think, frankly, the results in Mon and Preston, that area, may have been a little different if they had put specifically the Morrow line in play. However, I don't think they would have been that significantly different because at the end of the day, I think the economic message and how these transmission lines can provide economic opportunities is bearing itself out. I mean, we saw that with Google here in Putnam County. That was a huge, if not the staple of the deal. The fact that AEP had a 765,000 volt transmission line running adjacent to where that data center is proposed to be built. I think people see that. They pay attention to it. You?
I am very skeptical that the results would be the same if they had asked specifically about the Morrow transmission line up here. There were 4,000 letters submitted to the PSC opposed to that transmission line. Mm-hmm. And if you ask me, do you support grid reliability? Sure. Yes. It's very important. Do you support this project that's going to build a 500 kilovolt line through your property? Nope, not at all, would be probably the answer you would get from a lot of people here in Montague and Preston counties. They didn't ask specifically about it, so I don't know that you can take that much away from it when it comes to that specific project. Generally speaking, sure. I think the survey makes a lot of sense, but specific to that project in those 4 counties, I don't know that you can draw any wide-ranging conclusions when it comes to the Morrow transmission line.
I believe there is a lack of education in understanding what it means to be within a grid. This narrative that line is simply just a transmission cord, that doesn't hold. Not when you're in a grid and not when the reliability of the entire grid is at play. There's some education to be done there. I also, look, I don't think the people building it necessarily rolled it out very well in how that they're doing it. I think there are some issues there, but that's the rub. People want reliability. They want a grid. They want that export benefit that they talked about, but no one wants the line. That's a fair statement. But I think at some point you have to reconcile the two. You can't have your cake and eat it too, and folks need to realize that there's a sacrifice there.
All right, Jake. Do we have Vince George? I think we've got him on the Zoom machine. Vince, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
All right, let me give you the proper introduction here. Vince George, Democrat running for Congress in West Virginia's 1st District. Former teacher, community advocate, campaigning on working class messages that include healthcare expansion, higher minimum wage, clean water, and opposition to spending priorities. He says ignore everyday West Virginians. That's the gist of the campaign. Vince, I'll let you take it from there. Why are you running for Congress in the 1st District?
Well, one of the big reasons is I'm from South Charleston. I grew up there. I live there now. And last summer, I was watching closely on when the big ugly backstabbing bill was being developed in Congress, and watching our 4 federal reps, including Carol Miller, who's the incumbent District 1 House of Representatives member from Huntington. And that bill is a 10-year bill. It is not a 1-year budget. And that bill passed by 1 vote in each chamber multiple times in the U.S. House and the U.S. Senate. Not one of our federal people, Justice, Capito, Moore, or Miller, voted to stop that train from running. And that, to me, that was just inexcusable. They knew what that bill was going to do to West Virginians and disproportionately so damage West Virginians' lives. And it's doing so now. This is the largest takeaway of health care and nutrition assistance in the history of the country. That's by any measure, inflation, adjusted dollars, whatever you want to call it. And the fact that they didn't vote to help us made me say, well, everybody says, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Well, I'm going to run because I want to find out if West Virginians will defend themselves from this immoral and economic attack by our elected representatives. They do not deserve to be reelected because of what they did to us and is doing to us. The lack of the extension after that of the ACA tax credits at the end of the year are throwing people off of their health insurance right now as of January 1 of this year. And then also during the shutdown, they stopped people's SNAP benefits. 42 million people across the country rely on SNAP. This is across the board. I mean, elderly people on Social Security that are retirees have SNAP. People's SNAP benefits across the country and disproportionately again in West Virginia were suspended during the shutdown of the 6 weeks, October 1 to mid-November. And those cases have not yet been made whole. So they and there was over a $5 billion fund required by law to be spent for that in such a suspension of a shutdown, and they violated the law there by not invoking and spending that money. So we have people that are violating the law, including Carol Miller, voting to damage their constituents. And,
so, Vince, I have to jump in here. How do you want to pay for all this, though, sir? We're $39 trillion in debt. We spend $1.9 trillion so far this year on Medicaid, $1.6 trillion on Social Security. We have about $900 billion that we've spent on defense. What do you want to cut in order to pay for these other things?
Here's what I want to cut. I want to stop forever wars. I want to stop spending over $1 billion a day that we're doing right now in Iran in an illegal and unconstitutional war of choice. And I also want to undo the only way this budget was done to us, this 10-year budget, the big ugly backstabbing bill, is that was tax cuts for millionaires and billionaires. My father always said, follow the money. This is the easiest, the oldest trick in the book. They give tax breaks to millionaires and billionaires for in exchange, it's a kickback scheme. In exchange, those donors, those millionaires and billionaires, political donors, political race donors, then give campaign contributions, a kickback to the office holders for their campaigns. That's the game, and that's what's been going on, and especially in this case. And they also larded up ICE to be the largest state police force or country's police force apart from the Army, and that's apart from the Army than any other country on earth. And I'm not interested in people being kidnapped off the street, anybody being kidnapped off the street without having due process. So the money was taken from the people to give to people that don't need it, millionaires and billionaires, to donate to their campaigns and to violate the law, violate due process with this giant private army roaming the country, violating the law, kidnapping citizens and anyone else. Everyone in this country deserves due process. Everyone within the borders of the country and the jurisdiction. So that's how I would pay for it, is take those monies back from the tax cuts, and this is repealable. These tax cuts are not permanent. Nothing is permanent. You can do different legislation, can do some justice for the people.
So you would vote in favor of increasing taxes on U.S. citizens?
I would not vote to increase. I would.
That's
vote
what you just said.
No, that's not what I just said.
If you repeal the Trump tax cuts, that's an increase.
if I repeal the Trump tax cuts, that would be putting money back into social programs that already had money. That money was taken. So I'm saying replenish what was taken. That money was taken from people, John and Mary Doe, throughout the country, in every single U.S. House district. Not one of them out of 435 U.S. House districts in the country is not negatively affected. They're all negatively affected by this bill. That's a fact. And I'm not interested in taking away from. I'm not interested in taking from the poor to give to the rich. That's
here's the
what
thing,
I'm.
Vince. We were already going broke before the Trump tax cuts. We were spending too much money. So here's the way I like to position it: take every penny.
So why would we add more?
Hang on, sir. Take every penny from every billionaire that we have in this country. Take all their wealth. You could run the government for 7 years. You have to cut something, don't you, for all of these programs? We just don't have the money.
No, I disagree completely, and here's why. People like to, there's one of the games that they run on us is a political football about Social Security, going to go insolvent in 32 or 33, whatever the year is, 6 or 7 years from now. That's simply not true. I believe in scrap the cap. Scrap the cap is right now you have $175,000 of wage income in this country, which is the maximum that anybody contributes to the Social Security fund. This is one example. And so what does that mean? That means if you make $1 million, and I'm not talking about taking everybody's money. I'm not talking about taking every penny from every millionaire and billionaire. That's what you said I was looking to do. I'm not looking to do that.
I didn't say you were looking to do that. I was using it as an example of the fact there's just not that much money out there. If you took every penny, you could run the government for 7 years. What do you do after that?
Right, but the insinuation is that that's what I would want to do. I don't want to do that. So the scrap the cap issue is on that example of $175,000 maximum that you contribute on every dollar. The point is anybody under $175,000 a year in wages contributes on every dollar to the Social Security fund. What does that mean? If you make $1 million in this country and you do not contribute to the Social Security fund on the other $825,000. I believe in scrap the cap, but even the group of the Patriotic Millionaires, and you can look them up, patrioticmillionaires.org, they've been pushing this for years, is just raise it right now from 175 to 250 instead of the annual COLA, which is just a small amount going up each year. Take it to $250K right now, and you make the program solvent for 75 years, and you take away the political football of scaring the hell out of people talking about we're going to do away with or change Social Security. It's deceptive, it's disingenuous, and it's not necessary.
Vince, 30 seconds. Why should voters support you in the Democratic primary for U.S. Congress District 1 coming up on May 12th?
Well, I want to, like I say, Carol Miller was part of the gang that robbed the bank, and I'm trying to get the money back. And West Virginia needs to be able to count on things that people have had for, at this point, decades, back to the Great Society and even back to the New Deal, for that matter. I'm not interested in a smaller benefit to the people who pay the taxes, and I want to take care of the cuts that have been made to Medicare, Medicaid, and the Social Security plan cuts, and veterans benefits. Veterans benefits in this state, in the country, in March of 25, above and beyond the big ugly backstabbing bill, were cut by $23 billion in March of 25 at the VA, and Carol Miller voted for that. That's a no-go in West Virginia. Veterans, we have the highest service rate of any state in the country per capita with the military, including my family, World War II vets, Korean War vets, Vietnam vets. My brother recently passed from pancreatic cancer, served in Iraq and Kosovo and Egypt as well. So they're all gone, but they would all be jumping up and down mad about this administration and the attacks on veterans, elderly, poor, youth, even the school lunch program.
Hey, Vince, we got to leave it there. I'm up against a hard break here, buddy. Thank you very much. Vince George, Democrat running for Congress in West Virginia's 1st District. Again, primary elections May 12th. Early voting begins April 21st. Back in a moment.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan, we are here for you.
Approach your retirement with confidence. With over 150 years of combined experience, the advisors of the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group provide advice and wealth management strategies to individuals, families, small businesses, professional offices, and institutions. With the Stike team, you'll have access to an advising team with extensive resources, a client-first mindset, and a passion for helping transform the lives of those we serve. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike today and join the team that's dedicated to your success.
Coal-based generation remains the backbone of West Virginia's energy portfolio, ensuring reliability, security, and affordable electricity throughout the region. Our coal plants are engineered for performance, designed to run most efficiently at or near a 70% capacity factor. This level of operation is not arbitrary. It's based on sound engineering principles, scientific analysis, and has been formally adopted by the West Virginia Legislature as a reasonable target for optimal performance. When our coal fleet operates near that benchmark, it provides stable power to the grid, maintains cost efficiency, and supports thousands of good-paying jobs across our state. Coal generation also drives local tax revenue that sustains schools, infrastructure, and community services. Working in partnership with state leaders and the Trump administration, we're ensuring that our coal fleet remains modern, efficient, and ready to power West Virginia and beyond for decades to come. This message brought to you by the West Virginia Coal Association and Friends of Coal.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
Looking for a show that talks about everything? You found it.
By the way, I'm really happy to talk about this as opposed to Ryan's opinion that being a sports fan is a bad thing.
He said that it kept him from being stressed about it, not that it was a bad thing. They didn't have the stress. And, I mean, I've seen you pace.
Yeah, you're only 30 and you look like that.
So true. So
Join
true.
Dave Weekly and Coop weekdays for Hotline on Metro News Television.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
All right, let me take care of a little business here. Businesses across West Virginia rely on CityNet for secure, high-performing networks and advanced cybersecurity solutions. Built, owned, and supported right here at home. Visit citynet.net. Remember, CityNet connects, protects, and perfects. Also, it's not going to be long before it is time to get out on the rivers and lakes, so hurry, or at least move very briskly, and get online. Check out the entire inventory of pontoon and fishing boats and all the great deals at Lewendell Marine Sales, lewendellmarinesales.com. You can see the entire inventory. Lewendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun. Let's take our final break. Take a big collective deep breath, and you'll feel better. We're back in a moment. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
Senator Shelley Moore Capito is more than a true conservative and proud West Virginian. She's a champion of our way of life. She doesn't just fight, she delivers, working with President Trump to close the border and keep our families safe, protect our energy jobs, and cut taxes, and establishing the New River Gorge National Park, a powerful economic engine. Shelley Moore Capito, our senator, our champion.
I'm Shelley Moore Capito, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Capito for West Virginia.
For over 30 years, High Technology Foundation has been committed to building a stronger West Virginia. Our mission, economic diversification. By fostering innovation and supporting tech initiatives, we pave the way for a brighter future. From cutting-edge research to tech-driven solutions, we're transforming the landscape. Join us in creating opportunities and driving progress. Let's build a diverse economy together. Visit WVHTF.org. High Technology Foundation, shaping West Virginia's future.
Located in the heart of West Virginia, Bridgeport is the place to play. Endless indoor and outdoor recreation opportunities, including the Bridgeport Complex, coupled with a dynamic food scene, make Bridgeport the perfect getaway destination for couples and families. Explore unique shopping and pick from a wealth of lodging options to find something perfect for your needs. Explore the heart of West Virginia in Bridgeport. Learn more about all there is to do at greater-bridgeport.com.
If you have a child who's a junior in high school in West Virginia or know someone that does, please listen up. Here's your opportunity to win a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan College that includes room, board, tuition, and fees. The 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program is presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. The deadline is May 3rd. For details, go to wvmetronews.com to apply. That's wvmetronews.com. Remember, application deadline is May 3rd.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
Looking for a career that truly matters? Healthcare offers stability, great benefits, and careers that are in demand right now. From patient care to technology and support roles, healthcare careers offer flexibility and opportunity. Not sure where you fit? Take the quick healthcare career quiz at explorehealthcareerswv.com. Discover the path that's right for you. Healthcare careers, where passion meets purpose.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Patients who have allergies and sinusitis,
they have worse quality of life on many levels. At the WVU Medicine, Sinus and Allergy Center, we provide all the most recent technology in office procedures to help patients who cannot breathe through their nose. Patients come in, within half an hour they can leave. Whatever problem with the sinus and allergy you're having, we can help you get the right treatment.
Cruise into spring with the West Virginia Lottery's 40th anniversary celebration. There are 40 ways to win 4K and 4 cruise packages up for grabs. Play in store and online and enter for your chance to win cash or a cruise. Details at wvlottery.com. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. Let me get to this text. It's kind of long, but I want to get to it. I'd like to give Congressman David McElhinny some recognition. We have 6 federal prisons in the state of West Virginia, as well as 6 federal prison camps. We need help in the Bureau of Prisons, and our current elected leaders are not fighting for us. He was a steadfast advocate for federal corrections officers, not only in West Virginia, but across the entire country. He worked to ensure officers had the proper equipment and consistently pushed for adequate staffing levels to support safe and effective operations. His commitment was evident in his willingness to visit facilities such as Hazleton to offer direct support to staff. His efforts were instrumental in advancing officer safety. I hope our elected officials in the state will one day demonstrate the same level of compassion and dedication that he showed to our federal corrections officers. May he rest in peace. You get the final word for today. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 10:06. This is Talkline on Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.